The second story we're gonna say today is about Rav Yosef Shani. This is already in his later years when he was already more deeply experiencing Kabbalah and in the mystical parts of the Torah. So he already started to help people to answer them the questions: why do bad things happen to good people? Why are people born the certain ways they were? Try to help them understand who were they and why is this happening to them. So the second story deals with a 45-year-old lady. So let us begin. Yom echad panta elai. So Mr. Shani is writing. One day came to my office, Geveret Vav. He doesn't write the names of the women who come to him or the men who come to him for help, so he just writes an anonymous lady. One day, an anonymous lady came to him to his office, seeking his help. He writes she was 45 years old. She was neche b'shtei raglea. She couldn't walk on both of her feet. She was had to go in a wheelchair. It's tzmuda lemechonit nachim lekavim. Not only that, not only was she stuck to the wheelchair, had to go on a wheelchair. She also had use levers, and also she was connected to wires because she couldn't breathe correctly. She was in a very bad state of health. And she asked to know the very famous question: Madua gorala bagadba? How come her destiny, in a sense, cheated on her? And to this day, she's not even married, not even once. I'm not me'asirota bakshay gvarim. Since she was a young girl, she used to go out on dates and stuff like that. But after one date, nobody ever gave her a call back. Nobody ever was interested in her. And she's like herself, and nobody's with her. Nobody helps her. When I saw her, when I heard her story, when I saw how her agony with matzah briuta and her bad state of health, I had mercy on her. And I asked, and I accepted, and I agreed to do a shelat chalom. Now, before we continue, I have to explain to you what's a shelat chalom. A shelat chalom is literally it means asking a question in your dream, which means is sometimes the rabbis, if they know Kabbalah deeply, which is very few rabbis, they could before they go to sleep say a specific God's name and ask from God or from His angels to while your soul is up there in heaven while you're sleeping, to give you the answer in a dream to your question. So this rabbi, Rav Yosef Shani, agreed to do this for this girl, to ask them in heaven, why did this girl's destiny, as we said, cheat on her? How come it's so bad? Ubechalomi, and he writes, in his dream, Matzati v'smi v'ir Vienna. I saw myself in the city of Vienna, in Italy. Mashkif etoch chalon shel beit megorim, and I saw myself peeking into the window of a regular house. And I saw the parents sitting at the dinner table, Yehudim, Jews, with two of their daughters, Ubnam, and one son. They were eating the afternoon meal. When I was looking at their faces, I saw that the youngest girl sitting on the table, she looked around 18 years old, and her face looked exactly like the girl like the 45-year-old girl that came to me in the dream, that came to me in my office. And this is actually a very important side point. I want to say that you usually look like what you did. You have very similar features to what you had in the previous reincarnations. And he writes over here, I understood I was looking at the girl, at this anonymous woman, the 45-year-old woman that came to me in my office. In her previous reincarnation. And I saw that right away when she finished her meal, she got up without telling anybody. She made a polite excuse. She left the table. It was already dark outside, and she started walking down the street. In my dream, I followed her, and I saw her going inside the garden of the community over there, like the park. And over there, I see how she's meeting a non-Jewish boy. When they met, they started talking, flirting with one another. And I heard that he asked her to leave her family and to move in with him with his family and to marry him. When the girl heard this, she right away promised to do so in their next encounter. Again, I found myself in my dream looking inside. It was mid-afternoon, inside the same house. And I see again how the family is sitting together and eating their afternoon meal. But this time, what happened afterwards was a little different. Right after the girl finished her meal, she got up and proclaimed to her parents she has a boyfriend by the name of Vladislav. I'm guessing it's an Italian name. And she wants the permission of her parents to marry him. But then her sister got up and she started to yell, but she's not Jewish. When the mother heard that her daughter, her youngest daughter, wanted to marry a non-Jewish man, right away she fainted. The father, before he understood, like he didn't understand what was going on, it was chaos. He ran to help his wife who just fainted. And her siblings stayed with her to try to talk on her heart to stop her from doing this thing, which is in Hebrew it's called a nevala. It's a not a good thing. She should have some mercy on her parents, and on her Jewish soul. But their words was for naught. Lo manea panta, and without any word, she already had her bags ready by the door. She picked up her bags, marched towards the park. Over there was waiting her, her Prince Charming, and he took her and took her to his house, and she went with him. Again, I saw myself in my dream, and it's the morning. It looked like it was a Sunday, and I'm sitting across a church. And when I see and I'm seeing how that boy Vladislav is taking the girl, the young Jewish girl, into the church to baptize her and to marry her. And I see across the street her parents' house and how they're all sitting on the floor and sitting shiva, which is they're mourning for her, and how they're crying over her spiritual death. The next morning I woke up and I called the lady over to my office, and in real life, and I called her over to my office to tell her what happened in my dream. Before I started to tell her what happened in the dream, I asked her two separate questions. The first question I asked her is, what age did you have that accident in which you couldn't walk anymore? And the second question I asked her is, what is the relationship with your family? She started to cry when I asked her this, and she told me when she was 18 years old exactly, she had to go through a spinal surgery, and after the spinal surgery, unfortunately, her legs became paralyzed, and until today she can't walk. And as for her relationship with her family, after she got out of the surgery, when she couldn't walk anymore, her father was already dead, and her mother she didn't want anything to do with her daughter anymore, and neither her brothers or sisters wanted anything to do with her. So without any choice, at the age of 18, stuck in a wheelchair, she had to live the rest of her life day by day in her friends' houses. And I told her that. Then I told her the dream that I had, and I told her the reason why you can't find any true love is as the world works measure by measure. Since in the last reincarnation you threw away your Jewish soul and went to live with a non-Jewish man, and so the truth is we're supposed to lose any share to the world to come. But since God is merciful, He sent you back in a reincarnation and decided to give you measure for measure. And now this reincarnation you can't find any man to love as a payment for what you did to your parents in the last reincarnation. And the reason why you can't walk, that what happened to your spine, what happened in your surgery, from your legs are paralyzed, is because when you were 18 years old in the last reincarnation, that was the day you stepped inside a church for the first time in your life and converted to Christianity. From this story, we could learn what the impact the reincarnations have on a person's life, and how everything a person goes through in this life is connected to his prior reincarnations. Thank you.